Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have another homeschooling video for you guys today, and this has been really fun for me because I have been sharing pretty close to real time with you guys what I've been doing to prepare for a new school year. So as you're watching this right now, if it goes up the first week of May like I planned for it to, or at least the beginning of May, we have about a week or two left in our homeschool year. My youngest daughter is just finishing up her 7th grade school year. So a couple weeks ago, I shared kind of a very early stages preliminary curriculum planning, like my thoughts, kind of what I wanted to use or might use or definitely wouldn't use video. I'll link that for you guys. And then let me see what else. I just posted my 8th grade curriculum choices because I finally got all that lined up. And now I'm getting to the point where, like I said, our school year is almost over, and I'm thinking about like when we're gonna start our next school year for 2023-2024. I've shared this before in the past, but I think I get a lot of questions about it, and plus some of those videos are old and get buried, so I thought I would share it again in this video. So again, kind of real time where my thought process is, kind of how I plan things, how I wrap up one year and start working towards another one. But still, not overlooking the fact that summer is almost here and our summer break is here, which is our longest break. We take a very decent, generous summer break. So I'm very excited about that. And I don't get into too much, like, because I always deep clean the homeschool room too, but I started a little bit of that before the school year is over, but really most of it's gonna have to be done over the summer because I just don't have time during the school year to get that done. So anyway, I am working on what I can work on, what I can get prepared. And so part of that is thinking ahead to when we're gonna start our first day of school for the 2023-2024 school year, what breaks we're probably gonna take, and pretty much very accurately guess when our last day of school is gonna be for the upcoming school year. I have a very simple way of doing that. We don't follow the public school system's schedule, although I do look at it every year to see when public schools start. I usually don't like to start any later than that. Sometimes we start on the exact same day just because it works out for our schedule as well. Sometimes we start a little bit earlier. It really just depends. We definitely do not take all of the breaks that the public school system takes. One of the main reasons for that is because we like to be done with school early. We like to take our summer vacation early. This year, it just so happens we are taking our summer vacation in May, but it's a little bit later than we normally do. But still, we usually like to finish our school year at the end of April, first week of May. With that in mind, this is how I plan. This is how I have planned for years. Our state requires 170 days of instruction. So I have this little printable that I got off the internet. I don't know what the website is, but I'll link it for you guys. It's called Counting the Days. I just wrote 170 up here just to remember. This is my blank canvas. This is my homeschool year literally on a piece of paper. And so what I like to do is just sit down and start crossing off the things that I know we're not going to be schooling, the days we're not going to be schooling. So obviously I'm going to cross out June and July because those are summer days, summer months. And then I go in and start marking out all of the weekends. So obviously we don't school on the weekend, and maybe some people do, we don't. So I go through all of the school months, so August through May, and I mark out every single weekend. So that's off the books. Then I go through and mark out any birthdays that I know that if somebody's birthday falls on a school day, we usually go somewhere for people's birthdays, whether it's a day trip or even if we stay here in town, we like to be off and not doing school when possible on people's birthdays. So I like to go through and mark those out. I will also go through and mark out any holidays. So Thanksgiving Day I'll mark off, usually the day after Thanksgiving as well. Obviously Christmas and Christmas Eve. Christmas time is our longest break other than summer. We don't take a very long time, but we definitely take more time at Christmas than we do any other time during the school year. So, but I at least start off by marking out Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Then I count how many days are left. So once I've marked out weekends, birthdays, holidays, then I go through and say, okay, how many days are left in the month of September that are school days? So we could make them school days. Usually we don't have anything going. I'm looking at this calendar, so that's what I'm looking at. Usually we don't have anything specific going on in September or October at all. So I try to make those months, you know, pretty heavy, consistent school months. November with the holiday, it's not till the end of the month though, so usually we can get a pretty good couple weeks in early November and then take a couple days off for Thanksgiving. December, like I said, that is the month where we take the longest break other than summer, so I usually skip that initially and I'll move on to January and February and just see like, okay, how many good days can we get in January and February? Same thing for March. That leaves me with August. It's still not filled out other than weekends and birthdays, which there aren't any birthdays in August. November, April, and May. Because I've already booked in pretty much everything in September, October, most of November, pretty much all of January, pretty much all of February, pretty much all of March. That is where we're gonna get the bulk of our school days. So once I do that, I will add up the tentative days that we're gonna be schooling in those months where we don't really have much going on. There's no holidays, there's not really any birthdays. I will see how many days left we still need to school to get to that 170. And then I will take that number and kind of spread that number across the month of August, April, and May. And very rarely do I have to go into May. But the reason I like doing that and kind of planning for our year to end at the end of April is because things do come up. Let's say that somebody gets sick and we're not able to do school for a couple days. Or let's say that we decide in the fall we want to take a trip somewhere like maybe Tennessee or something. And take a couple days off that I didn't plan for right now. Obviously, it's very early and we haven't even started our new homeschool year. So things do come up that are unplanned or spontaneous. So I like to have that buffer where I can say, okay, well, we took an extra 5 days that we didn't plan on taking off, that maybe I didn't have penciled in to my my day tracker, but that's okay because I have leeway in the beginning of May that I can push those dates to. So that I really like doing it that way. Plan for the school to be over at the end of April, but have at least a week or two in May that I can still kind of use as a buffer to fill in for illnesses, vacations, maybe taking a longer Christmas break. Sometimes we get into Christmas break and I'm like, I'm not ready to go back. I want to do a deep clean of my house before we start school, or I want to spend a little bit more time enjoying just the holiday season before we go back to school. And so sometimes we'll take a longer break than I planned. But that's the beauty of this system, where it's obviously very, very basic and simple. It's free, so that's nice too. But I can just move things around and give myself a little bit of wiggle room to be able to move dates around, but still kind of have an overall broad view of when we're going to start and tentatively when we're going to end. So that's how I plan the year. And then I also have talked before about weekly, like I don't lesson plan per se. I know some people sit down and plan out entire days, weeks, months, quarters. You know, I don't do that. So I don't do that, but I do like to have something that I can write down just kind of on a day or two basis, like ahead of time, for my daughter to do. And so this is her schedule for this year. It's gonna change a little bit. I haven't updated the subjects here for her 8th grade curriculum. Like I said, I just filmed that video. So I haven't updated them. They won't change a whole lot because pretty much she's still gonna have English, writing, science, history, math, geography, and then extra math. So if I've got something for her, like maybe she's got a workbook over and above her math curriculum, doesn't always, but sometimes she does. Like when she was learning to tell time, that was something over and above her math curriculum that we had a workbook for, and so I would write that down there. And then extra is anything that maybe we're working through that's not a long-term curriculum that we're planning to do. Like let's say she was doing you know, a unit study on economics or something. This would be where I would write that in. And then down here, so these are spots where I would write in specific page numbers, and usually I only do that a day or two in advance. Lately here it's been the day before. I will grade at night and then write down the next day the page number. These down here are subjects that are pretty much, I mean this is kind of this way too, but pretty much these things down here, doesn't matter the page number. It's gonna be the next lesson, whatever it is. So in that category, we have vocabulary, she just does the next page, spelling, just does the next page, handwriting, typing, read for 20 minutes, her devotional, and clean her desk. Those are down at the bottom. Those are subjects or things that I want her to do that do not necessarily have a specific page number. She just kind of keeps rolling through the book and gets it done no matter what the next page number is. These up here, a lot of times those follow that rule too, but sometimes it's specific. Like for her history example, for example, a lot of times I will combine 2 lessons in one day. So I've noticed with BJU Press, at least in the lower levels, sometimes they only assign 2 pages of reading. And I'm like, you know, she's in 7th grade right now. She'll be in 8th grade in the fall. She can definitely read more than 2 pages. So a lot of times I will double up and I'll say, you know, read page 400 through 408. And that's 2 days maybe worth of reading. And then I'll write down the whatever worksheets are related to that. So there are specific reasons why up here I would want to write in a specific number or page number or assignment. Whereas down here, it's always just whatever the next lesson is, do that lesson. I hope that makes sense. This has worked for us for a few years now, and I don't really anticipate needing to change it because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's very simple. It allows a lot of flexibility, and you know, let's just say maybe on Monday she was supposed to do writing, and this is why I don't write in more than a day or two in advance, because let's say she was supposed to do a certain page number in writing, maybe she didn't get to it that day. If I have planned out the entire week, I would have to go through, or even an entire quarter, I would have to go through and adjust every single lesson because she skipped one day. It's making it not take any more time than it really should for me, makes it a lot less stressful for me, and it keeps my daughter organized. She knows what's expected of her each day. It's all organized for her, so I feel like this sets us both up for success. So these two things are foundational and paramount to our homeschool planning, whether it is planning out the year or on a weekly basis planning out her her schedule. Something else that I'm doing that I am adding to our homeschool room this coming year, and I'm super excited about. If you guys have been watching my goal setting videos, I talked about, I know I talked about it in April, I'm not sure if I talked about it in March, and I mentioned it earlier in this video. Every summer I do a really deep clean of the homeschool room. It's also my office, and it's also our craft room. So there is a lot of stuff in that room. And we also have a guinea pig in that room, which I love her. We love Bean. She's our, if you guys have followed us for a while, she's our little guinea pig. She's little, but her cage is big, and she's very malodorous, we will call her. And the bad thing is her cage is in the office / homeschool room, which is right off of the kitchen, where when people come over and we're eating at the table and we're having dinner together, sometimes you can smell her. It smells like a barn. And that's not the best situation to have. And plus you do kind of wonder about just the quality in general of our air that we're breathing if we have her down there. I mean, we clean her out and everything, but they just stink. So I got an air purifier that I'm going to be adding to our homeschool room, and I'm really excited about. And the main reason I'm excited about it, other than the fact that I feel like it'll help with any of the odors that are going on in the homeschool room, it's powerful enough, and based on the size of our downstairs, which is the homeschool room, kitchen, living room, half bath, it's big enough, it has a big enough capacity to purify the air in our whole downstairs. So even though we're gonna put it in the homeschool room to really freshen up the space in there and keep it fresh, it's gonna benefit the entire downstairs and help to purify the air and get rid of odors, because sometimes people come over and it's just embarrassing, especially if we're eating at the table and Bean is like 2 steps away. Sometimes you can smell her. So this is a great solution to that problem. So it's gonna be in our homeschool room, it's gonna be part of that. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in now, even though I haven't actually deep cleaned the homeschool room yet. I have started, but I have not made that much progress yet. Most of that will have to be done over the summer, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in now just so that I can have the benefit of that and purify the air and keep it as clean and pollutant and dust and allergen free as possible. So I'm gonna go set that up right now. I thought I would bring you guys with me and set up the air purifier. So I got the Dayet HEPA air purifier because it's affordable, which is a big thing, and also it has a 360-degree air intake, so it can completely purify up to 1,720 square feet every hour. It has a 4-stage filtration system and a pre-filter and activated carbon filter to capture 99.97% of airborne particles. So dust, pollen, odors, perhaps from a guinea pig, pet dander, and more will all be filtered out. And the color-coded lights go from blue, which is very good, to red, which means highly polluted, so you can see at a glance the quality of the air in your room at any given moment. So one of my favorite things is how quiet it is. So if we're doing school in here, or like right now when I'm doing this voiceover, it's actually going in the background and you can't even hear it. But there is a nighttime mode, so if you did have the fan on one of the higher speeds and it was bedtime, you can turn it on nighttime mode. You can also set a timer. So there's so many features to the Dayet HEPA air purifier, and like I said, the cost was a huge thing. So many features, and the low cost is really a huge selling factor for me. But I mentioned earlier, I like how with its capacity for up to 1,720 square feet, I can put it pretty much in any room on either floor of my house and it will purify the entire floor. So unless you have a really, really big house, then one unit would be perfect for an entire floor, or if you have an apartment, it would definitely do the entire apartment if it's under 1,720 square feet. So I highly recommend the Dayet HEPA air purifier, and I thought I would share it with you guys in today's video since it's going to be a huge part of our homeschool life going forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing a little bit of what, like I said, somewhat real time of how I'm planning for wrapping up our current school year and planning for our next school year. I hope it's helpful to you guys. I will also make sure to link the Dayet air purifier for you whether you homeschool or not, obviously people need pure, clean air in their house. And it is something that, you know, we've been on this journey for a while of trying to make our home as healthy and what we eat as healthy as possible. We've switched to pretty much all organic over the last 10 years and are pretty much about, I would say 85 to 90% organic. We worry a lot about what we put on our bodies. We use more natural deodorant and body products and shampoo and things like that. And a lot of our household cleaners now are homemade, so they're very safe and non-toxic for us, but also our pets. So getting an air purifier is really just part of this process, making sure that the air that we are breathing in, which obviously you're doing all day long, is as clean as possible. And especially with pets, like we have 2 birds, so there's pet dander with birds and feathers. There's a dog, so pet dander with him and his hair and his, like, I don't know, his skin. He makes a mess everywhere. And of course our guinea pig, which her little odors that are kind of wafting through the house sometimes. So I think it's really important, especially for pet owners, to have some type of air purification system. And we spend so much time in our homeschool rooms, it's gonna be really nice to have the air in there as clean as possible. But then, like I said, the Dayette model that I have has enough capacity to do our entire downstairs and actually then some. So it's really nice that even if you put it in one room, it's powerful enough to do an entire level of your house. So I really appreciate that. We're gonna get the benefit, whether we're in the office or whether we're in the living room, we're gonna get the benefit of that purified air. So I will link the Dayette air purifier for you guys if you're interested. Highly recommend that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you've been enjoying more of these homeschooling videos. That's all I've been talking about lately because I am like eyeball deep in homeschool planning mode. So I hope you guys have enjoyed them. I'll link my homeschooling playlist for you where every single homeschooling video I've made lives. And I think there's around 200 of them, I think, if I remember right. So definitely lots of homeschool motivation, curriculum choices, homeschool mom life, all those things are in that playlist. So make sure you check that out and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.